Good morning, everybody. It's Farmer Dan, and today's video is going to be a little graphic, and so I wanted to put a disclaimer right up front. I have just dispatched one of our bunnies, and I wanted to film how I skin them, and then I'll be filming the rest of the butchering process. But I just want to let you know right up front, this does involve an animal that has been dispatched through the butchering process. So just full and fair warning. I think this is great teachable stuff, but just be aware it's a blood and guts kind of thing. So thanks. Hi everybody, it's Farmer Dan, and I've just finished dispatching this rabbit, and I wanted to show you how I skin them. So this part, basically, I don't know how the video work's going to be because it's just kind of propped up. I'm hoping for the best, but I'll try and talk and describe as I'm doing things in the first place. So the first thing, after the rabbit has been dispatched, clearly you need to cut the head off. So the head is off and the body has mostly bled out. You're still going to get some blood on you. It kind of is what it is. But from here, what I use is I have a couple of U-hooks, and I hang them by their hocks. And so from here, the first thing I need to do is kind of start stripping some of the fur away from the skin. So what I will typically do, first thing I will do actually, is I will cut off the tail. And so basically, good sharp knife, and you're going to come in here and off of the tail into the bucket. And then by doing that, that's kind of loosened up some of the skin here. And so you'll find that actually rabbits are amazingly easy to skin, much easier than chickens. And so a lot of it you can actually do pretty much by hand. With strong fingers you can pretty much kind of tear. And so what you're doing is you're separating the hide from the rest of the body. So you use the knife minimally while you're doing this because you don't want to risk cutting into the meat. So I've pulled a bunch aside here, and so we'll kind of cut into the skin, into the hide to separate that out. And unfortunately I just made a mistake here and actually cut through the skin, so now we're into the muscle here. So not a particularly good example of my best work. What I do from here is I make sure that I get all the way around the leg, and then using the knife you'll kind of cut the hide up as high as you can so it's away from the hock. And then you're going to use your fingers to basically kind of just get in. It's almost like you're doing a bit of digging, and by putting your fingers in behind, you're able to separate the hide from the skin of the rabbit. Now, when you get to the belly of the rabbit, there's a whole sac area that's basically kind of where all the guts go to the back end of the bunny. And so that's an area that you definitely need to use the knife for, because if you don't, you're going to wind up with guts all over the place. And you don't want to be spilling them all over. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to get as much as I can, start separating the skin off the leg. And so again, I mean, it's tough, but I mean it's doable by hand. Clearly the knife is easier to do. Again, you just need to be careful so that you're not cutting into the skin so that everything stays together. Don't know if I'm kind of in my own way as far as the camera work here, so I apologize. I'm sure this isn't the best quality, but I'm trying to do what I can here. So we've now basically separated all the hide from both of the legs, and you can see here at the back we already have it a good ways down. So now on the front, on the belly side, we need to get in as high as we can, again with our hands, but then there's going to be a section right near where you cut off the tail that you want to cut into and separate, because otherwise you'll wind up you'll start disemboweling the rabbit right here, which just is not what you want to do. So an easy cut here, and all the guts stay inside the bunny. So now from here, it's almost like peeling the hide off of the rabbit. So it comes off reasonably easily. It's still, it's a hard pull. I mean, it doesn't come off, super easy, but it will come off all in one piece. And so you just basically you're peeling the hide off. What usually winds up happening is the amount of pulling that you have to do. You'll actually hear the snaps of the rear legs as you're doing this, because it's a lot of force that has to come off to do this. So basically, you're going to give it a good pull, and okay, there go the legs as we were saying, and we pull it off. And then the last part is over the front paws. And try not to get a bunch of blood on yourself. Okay, so we've now skinned the rabbit. From here, I'll take it off, put it onto my cutting bench, and I will use a large heavy knife, and I will cut off both the hind legs and the front paws before I bring it inside and start soaking it in cool water, and that'll be the next process. So that's it for this part. So Farmer Dan signing off. So where we are now is after I took the rabbit off of the hooks, put it onto a bench here, and using a good heavy knife, I use a K-bar. Basically, you chop off the front and the hind legs. So basically, we've got the fronts are taken off and the backs are taken off. And from here, the next step is going to be to basically bring it inside and soak it and wash it off in cool water, just to get the body temperature down as quickly as possible. Typically what will happen here is when I process bunnies, I don't do them one at a time like this. I would probably do normally about 4 at a time. I get them done in about an hour or so. And so I'll have a big bowl like this full of cool water. And so as I do each of them, I wash them off and I put them inside the bowl with the cool water to get everything, just get their body temperatures down, cool. Once I have 4 of them and they're all cooled off and washed off, then I'll do the inside processing. So what I did was, after bringing it inside, I've given it a cold water bath to cool the body temperature down and to get any additional hair or blood off. One thing that did not happen with this one, but is more typical of how you do it, is you make sure that the day before the rabbits aren't eating. The reason for that is you don't want their stomachs distended with all the food that they've consumed, and then essentially have poop through their tracts and everything else. So this one is going to be more full than we would otherwise have. So from here, after we've soaked it, just kind of pick it up, and then we put it upside down on our cutting board. And what we do is we make a cut right on the edge of the belly here. So what you want to do is get in here, you make a cut, but you do it while you're holding up the skin flap from the belly. This way you're not disemboweling, you're not cutting anything. And so you just basically do a cut right up the center to the middle, and that'll display all the wonderful guts inside. From here, you'll pull all the intestines, and most of the innards will be out. So you'll see here we've got our trail of pellets, because this rabbit did eat the night before. So this is not ideal, but for demonstration purposes, I just wanted to get this done. So we're going to have a lot more cleaning out to do as far as pellets. The next part you need to take out is the stomach again. Ideally, this would be better if it was more empty. So stomach comes out. Now from here, the next part that I take out is the liver. This is definitely a keeper as far as for eating. The liver is just absolutely incredible as far as the quality of the meat. So from here, we've taken the liver out, and we rinse off the liver. One of the key and most important parts here is you need to remove the gallbladder, which is this part here. This thing is full of nasty, nasty stuff, and if you rupture this, toss the liver, because you will have ruined the taste of it. So what we do is we carefully grab it near the top, and we just peel it back, and then we disconnect it so that we can discard it without rupturing the sack, okay? Because that's full of just nasty, nasty stuff. And then we rinse off the liver, and we put that aside. This is good stuff right here. Okay, so liver's out. Now, this rabbit is, this was one of our breeding rabbits. It's the first breeding rabbit that we've actually had to dispatch. So this one is not going to be one that we're going to consume. This one's actually going to go to the dog as far as dog food. But from here, the next part that we take out is the kidneys. So pair of kidneys, that goes into, you know, the bucket for the doggy. And then now we have a whole bunch of innards here. This is all, also again, this would be not stuff that humans would consume, but amazingly good dog food. So that goes in there as well. So now we have inside here, basically you'll notice that the inside of the rabbit is, I mean, their whole stomach is really almost like just a flap. There's really nothing much there aside from just skin. So what we want to do is want to peel out all the fat. We want to get that out of there. Okay. And the next part that we need to do is there's a membrane here at the top here that separates out where the lungs and the heart are from the rest of the body. So we need to puncture that. It's just easier to just a little poke with a knife. Okay. And we're going to pull back this sheath, and this will show us the heart and the lungs. So from here, just gotta get the fingers up there, and you're pulling out heart and lungs. Again, wonderful, wonderful dog food. Typically don't keep the heart for our consumption, only because it's really tiny and it's almost not worth the effort, and the dog really likes it. So then you peel off both the sheaths, and then you need to dig in and pull out all the inside stuff that you can. From here, you get it under the tap. We're going to rinse it out because we got a lot of loose blood and just bits and pieces. So we'll get that out of there. And again, if this wasn't for the dog, then I would take a knife and I would cut off this little bit of shoulder fat here. I mean, it comes off pretty easily. And after we've done all of this, the last big piece that we need to do is to clean out the back end. And so what we're looking at here is, this is where you gotta, again, this is why you don't want to feed them in the first place, because you see we've got a bunch of pellets that we're kind of popping out the butt. Not fun stuff, but kind of is what it is. But we got to clean that out before we would be finished with this. So it's a matter of, you're sticking your finger down in there and you make sure that you get all the yummy, wonderful poop out of there. And we're going to give it another rinse. And what we have now is a fully butchered, fully processed rabbit. What I would do from here is I would put this back into this bowl, and this would sit in the refrigerator for probably 2 or 3 hours, because you want to let basically all the water that's on here drip off, and you just want to kind of like let the carcass season, so to speak. And then from here I would put this basically like this, a whole piece like this, into a Ziploc bag, not a Ziploc bag, into a vacuum sealer bag, and take care of that. Now from here, when we prepare rabbit as far as for eating, you essentially have 4 parts. So what we typically do is we'll separate off the top part above. This is called the saddle at the back here. This is where all the best, like what you would call the white meat from the rabbit is. So we cut off the front 2 hocks and the top of the rib cage. So that will come off, and then so you'd have all this would be taken off up here. That's one piece. The second piece would be the saddle, and that's this whole area here that basically goes all the way to the hind legs. And so, front to back here. It'd be here and here, and this is the majority of the meat. Again, this would be like the white meat. And then we would take the 2 separate legs, the hind legs, lots of meat and muscle here, and we would separate those out individually. So you wind up with essentially 4 pieces that we're cooking. So from here, one of the things that we usually do is put it into a Dutch oven, and with some apples and bacon and onions, and it's just incredibly delicious. The meat from rabbits is beyond compare. And so you cook it, I think it's about 375 degrees for roughly 80 minutes. And then you're finished with it, and it's just a delectable meal. So again, not a pretty thing, but want to kind of show you this is, hey, we are a farm. We're a working homestead, and we produce meat rabbits, and that means they have to be butchered when their time comes. And so, it's Farmer Dan signing out. Thanks.